Hi guys! Welcome sa Engineered Math Channel. Sa video na to ay tuturo ko sa inyo ang series to parallel connections of resistors. So kung gusto niyo itong matutunan, just keep on watching. So basically, minsan hindi lang purely series o purely parallel ang connections ng mga resistors. Minsan, pwede ring maging combination ng series at parallel yung connections ng mga resistors. So halimbawa, suppose meron tayong apat na resistors, R1, R2, R3, at R4. At connected sila this way. Ngayon, let's try to find out the total resistance across the terminals A at B. So para magawa natin yon, mahalaga na alam natin mag-identify ng connections ng resistors. Kung either series ba sila o parallel. Ang una natin i-check ay yung series connections ng mga resistors kung meron man. Kasi madali lang natin silang i-combine by simply adding them. And then, tsaka natin i-check kung merong parallel connections. At magsisimula tayong mag-simplify ng equivalent values ng resistors doon sa dulo or sa kanan. So ngayon, kung mapapansin nyo dito sa resistors natin, wala tayong in series na resistor agad. So mapapansin nyo na yung R3 at R4 ay parallel. Kasi meron silang connections dun sa dalawang dulo nila. So therefore, ito yung una nating isi-simplify as 1. So R3, 4 or the equivalent resistance of resistors R3 at 4 is equal to 1 all over 1 over R3 plus 1 over R4. So meron tayong mas madaling formula kapag maghahanap tayo ng equivalent resistance ng dalawang resistor. Ito yung product nila over sum nila. So therefore, ito na lang yung gagamitin natin para hanapin yung R34. Substituting the values, we have 30 ohms times 10 ohms over 30 ohms plus 10 ohms, which is equal to 7.5 ohms. Okay, ngayon na reduce na natin as single resistor yung R34, pwede nating i-redraw yung mga resistors. So we have R1 as 20 ohms, and then yung equivalent resistance ng R3 at R4, which is R34, is just 7.5 ohms. And lastly, yung R2 na 10 ohms. So now, mapapansin nyo na in series na yung tatlong resistors, yung R1, R3, 4, at R2. So makocombine na natin sila as RT by simply adding them. So therefore, RT is equal to R1 plus R34 plus R2, which is equal to 20 ohms plus 7.5 ohms plus 10 ohms. Or simply 37.5 ohms. Okay. So kung susukatin nyo yan, gamit yung ohmmeter, dapat ang masusukat nyo ay 37.5 ohms. So para ma-verify, tatry ko siyang i-simulate. So ito yung simulation ko to verify the theoretical computations natin dun sa series to parallel connections ng resistors natin. So, kinonect ko yung ohmmeter dun sa terminals A at B. And then, it will read 37.5 ohms. So, tama yung computations natin. So now, let's try to connect a series to parallel connections of resistors sa isang voltage source or battery. And then, try natin i-analyze kung ano yung magiging values ng mga currents through the resistors as well as the voltage drop across them. So, mahalaga na alam natin yung mga formula at concepts kapag kino-consider natin ang series at parallel connections ng resistors. So, ito yon. So, dapat alam na natin to. Anyway, meron akong separate videos both sa series at parallel connection of resistors. So, pwede nyo yung i-check para mas maunawaan nyo yung isosolve nating circuit. Okay. Suppose daw, meron tayong apat na resistor, R1, R2, R3, at R4, connected this way. At meron tayong VT or supply voltage na 50 volts. Ngayon, hanapin daw natin yung RT, IT, I1, I2, I3, I4, V1, V2, V3, at V4. Okay. So, lagi kapag magsasolve tayo o mag-a-analyze tayo ng series to parallel connections of resistors, lagi muna natin hahanapin yung RT. And then, after mahanap yung RT, pwede nating mahanap yung IT. Okay. So, seeing this connection of resistors, makikita nyo na merong series connection yung R3 tsaka R4. So, sila muna yung i-simplify natin as 1. So, therefore, R34 or the equivalent resistance of resistors R3 at R4 is R3 plus R4, which is equal to 30 ohms plus 20 ohms, or simply 50 ohms. And then, i-redraw natin using single resistor. Okay. Ngayon, check natin kung ano yung next na pwede nating makombine. So, notice na parallel yung R2 sa R34 kasi connected sila sa both ends. So, therefore, pwede natin silang i-simplify as 1 using the formula for parallel resistors. So, R2, 3, 4, or the equivalent resistance for R2, 3 at 4 is, using the formula, the product of R2 and R34 over R2 plus R34. Substituting the values, we have 50 ohms times 50 ohms over 50 ohms plus 50 ohms, which is equal to 25 ohms. Okay, i-redraw ulit natin using the equivalent value for R234. Okay. So, mapapansin nyo, in series lang yung R1 sa R234. So, therefore, para makuha natin yung RT, i-add lang natin sila. So, therefore, RT is equal to R1 plus R234, which is equal to 25 ohms plus 25 ohms, or 50 ohms. So ngayon, pwede na nating i-redraw yung final circuit using the equivalent resistance or the RT. So RT is equal to 50 ohms. Now, redrawing the circuit. Okay. Na-reduce natin yung circuit as a single resistor RT supplied by the voltage source 50 volt. Ngayon, pwede na nating isolve yung IT using Ohm's law. So, IT is equal to VT over RT. So, VT is 50 volts over RT, which is 50 ohms. Therefore, IT is equal to 1 amp. Okay, nahanap na natin yung total current. So, ito yung dadaloy doon sa equivalent resistance natin na RT. So, para mahanap natin yung current at voltage doon sa R1 to R4, pabalikan natin yung mga previous redrawn circuit natin. So, bago itong final circuit natin, ang connection natin ay ito. Series connection of R1 sa R234. So, kung i-redraw natin, we have... Okay. So, since in series lang yung R1 sa R234, kung i-apply natin yung concept ng series resistors, alam natin na ang dadaloy sa kanilang kuryente ay constant, which is equal to the total current IT. Since alam na natin yung IT, masasolve na rin natin yung current sa kanila. So, therefore, I1 is equal to I234 is equal to IT, which is 1 amp. So, therefore, I1 is equal to 1 amp. Ngayon, pwede na rin nating mahanap yung voltage across R1 using Ohm's law. So, V1 is equal to I1 times R1. So, we have 1 amp times 25 ohms or equal to 25 volts. Therefore, V1 is 25 volts. So ngayon, hanapin din natin yung voltage drop across sa resistor R234 using Ohm's law. Since ang I234 natin ay 1 amp din, we have V234 is equal to I234 times R234, which is equal to 1 amp times 25 ohms or 25 volts. Okay. So, bakit ko hinanap yung V234 at I234? Kasi, gagamitin natin to para mahanap natin yung current at voltage dun sa remaining resistors R2, R3, at R4. At para magawa yon, babalikan uli natin yung previous read-on circuit natin bago yung circuit na ito. So, kung itatrack natin yung drawing natin, ito yon. Yung R2 at R34 ay parallel connection sila. So, i-redraw natin. Okay. So, ngayon, niredraw ko yung circuit using only the resistors R2 at R34. Since na nakuha na natin yung current at voltage doon sa R1. So, hindi natin yung kailangan. So, ngayon, ginawa ko yung V234. Yun yung ginamit ko ngayong supply voltage doon sa resistors R234. Since ito nga yung nakuha natin, di ba? Yung 25 volts. As well as yung total current na I234 which is 1 amp. So ngayon, analyze natin kung ano yung itsura ng circuit, which is parallel resistors lang, right? So ngayon, pwede na natin i-apply yung concept ng parallel resistors. So kapag parallel resistors, constant sa kanya yung voltage. Therefore, mahanap natin yung voltage across R2 at R34, which is equal dun sa supply voltage nila na V234. So therefore, V2 is equal to V34 is equal to V234, which is 25 volts. So therefore, V2 is equal to 25 volts. Ngayon, pwede na rin nating mahanap yung current through R2 using Ohm's law. So therefore, I2 is equal to V2 over R2. So we have 25 volts divided by 50 ohms or 0.5 amps or 500 milliamps. So I2 is equal to 0.5 amps. Okay. So ngayon, alam natin yung V34 as 25 volts. Pwede nating hanapin yung I34 using Ohm's law din. So, I34 is equal to V34 over R34. V34 is 25 volts and R34 is 50 ohms. So therefore, I34 is equal to 0.5 amps or 500 milliamps. Okay, ngayon, tapos na tayo sa R2. So ang kailangan na lang nating mahanap ay yung current at voltage dun sa R3 at R4. So para makuha yon, gagamitin natin yung nakuha nating current I34 at V34. Tapos i-redraw natin yung circuit bago itong connection na to. So ang itatrack natin pabalik. So ito na yon, yung series connection nung R3 at R4. Okay, ito yung red round circuit natin. R3 is series in R4. And then, ang sinupply na lang natin ay yung V34 na 25 volts at yung total current sa kanila na I34 which is 0.5 amps. So ngayon, since nga in series sila, ma-apply ulit natin yung concept ng series resistor which is the same yung current na magpo-flow doon sa mga resistor. So since alam natin na yung I34 is the total current acting doon sa series connection ng R3 at R4, ito na rin yung dadaloy sa kanilang kuryente. So therefore, I3 is equal to I4 which is equal to I34 which is 0.5 amps or 500 milliamp. Therefore, I3 is 0.5 amps as well as I4 is 0.5 amps. Ngayon, pwede na nating mahanap yung voltage across R3 at R4 using Ohm's law. So we have V3 is equal to I3 times R3. So 0.5 amps times 30 ohms is 15 volts. Therefore, V3 is 15 volts. And lastly, doon sa R4, we have V4 is equal to I4 times R4. So, 0.5 amps times 20 ohms is 10 volts. So, therefore, V4 is equal to 10 volts. Okay, as a summary, ito yung mga nakuha nating sagot. So, para ma-check kung tama yung computation natin, itatry ko rin siyang i-simulate. So, ito yung simulation ko para ma-verify yung theoretical computations natin dun sa series to parallel connections ng resistors natin. So, for the total resistance or RT, let's check. So, tama na 50 ohms. And then, yung total current, which is this, tama na equal sa 1 amp. So, ito na rin yung dadaloy na kuryente dun sa R1. Dun naman sa voltage across R1, 25 volts. So, tama. And then, yung current through R2 is 500 milliamps or 0.5 amps. So, tama rin. Then, yung voltage drop across dun sa R2 is 25 volts. So, tama. Yung current naman through R3 is 500 milliamp or 0.5 amps din. So, tama. Then, yung voltage across R3 is 15 volts, which is tama rin. At yung current na nagfo-flow dun sa R4 is 500 milliamps or 0.5 amps din. So, tama. Then, yung lastly, yung voltage across R4 is 10 volts. So, therefore, na-verify natin na tama yung computations natin through simulation. Okay, that is how to analyze series to parallel connections of resistors. So, sana ay may natutunan kayo sa video na to at maraming salamat sa panonood.